So,
Justin.
Yep, sorry, you go.
I was gonna just quickly go through the grid again. Bark School first, Disco Stewart second, RP Amazing third. On the second row of the grid, Matt, and then third row, Charges and Funzy Bra, and the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo. Castle Racing, the Racing Point, 7th, 8th, Real Slim Turi, 9th, Not Apollo, and to round out the top 10, it's Lit. The Lit man himself, Lit Romney. And as we mentioned in the last race, he most certainly is Mitt Romney, the former presidential candidate's cousin.
Most definitely. So,
and rain. That's good to see. I'm gonna have a lot of fun here.
Heavy
it's
rain
gonna be interesting.
Around Singapore, one of the hardest tracks to drive in the rain, just because it's always just constant corners after corners, and you always struggle to get your traction down. Now, from testing yesterday, just prior to the Oceania Regionals, we had rain in our practice session, 90-minute practice session, and I had the chance to go out on the intermediate tires. And unless you're using traction, I mean, even if you aren't using traction, the rears burn like crazy around here just because of all that wheel spin. You're always coming in and out of corners, and that just absolutely ruins the intermediate tires. It ruins them in the dry, like just dry tires get ruined at the rear in normal conditions, but in the rain, these intermediates really do struggle, and they won't last too long.
And Singapore is a track where you have to be mindful of spatial awareness. How far you're going from the corner, how much speed you can take into the corner, and especially with the grid sort of backed up, you can see the top 10 drivers being well within the second of each other. Being able to hold it together and not go into into the driver in front or the driver behind you, because you're not spatially aware and you're missing your braking points, can cause safety cars and can prove to be devastating for some of the drivers here, because you have to be really careful with how much speed you'll be able to take in with your tires, obviously under a lot of duress during the whole race. Harry, would you like to take us through the rest of the grid, please?
Will do. So I'll just run us through from the number one, even though you've already done that from our qualifying session, but I'll just run through the grid now that our cars are out on track. So, Bark School in P1 in the Renault, he's proud of pole position here in Singapore. Behind him is Disco Stewart in the Rich Energy Haas racing team. He is looking very good under lights. In third, RP Amazing in the Ferrari, followed by our fan favourite Matthew Elliott. He's starting in the Toro Rosso P4. Behind him, the sister team Red Bull of Chargers 1000 in P5. P6 we have Fonzibra in the Alfa Romeo, followed by the first of the Racing Points, Castle Racing in P7. In a bit of a Alfa Romeo sandwich here with Real Slim Turi in P8. Behind him is the second Racing Point, Not Apollo. He will be starting P9, working his way up the field. In P10, Mitt Romney in the McLaren. And that's our top 10. In P11 we have the Pink Spartan in the Pink Spartan in the Mercedes, and our final three are Whizbang in the Renault. He's a bit far back from his teammate, and the very back of the grid is the two Williams of LeBode and Top Gun 8827. As lining up on the grid now. That's not something
I'm not used to anyway.
Yeah. Well, I will need a name sheet for next round, possibly, just so I can actually read these names, real names. But the cars are lining up on the grid now, and we will.
Yeah, it's good to know the names, because what if Not Apollo's real name is actually Apollo? We don't know that, and maybe I'd like to. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Anywho, we've got them on, all of them setting. The Williams are taking their places, which means the lights should be ready. Yeah. Why don't you be our Crofty?
Will do. You can start to hear the cars revving up now as there's the 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go. They're off the grid now. Wheel spin galore here as the Renault of Bark School's gotten a good start. Very solid from him into turn 1. Is there any accidents? There's a racing point that's gone a little bit wide. And he's gone into the, I guess the runoff area there. What's going on down the rest of the field? There's a Racing Point going for a move around the outside of Matthew Elliott. He's dropped down one position there. He's in P6 now, but now there's an Alfa Romeo going for a move around the outside into turn 3, I believe. And Matt's dropped down 2 positions in the first 4 corners. He's not happy with that start. The field's starting to divvy up now, but now we have Romney going for a move around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Into the braking zone, and the Alfa Romeo's gone a bit deep, forcing Matt a little bit wide, but not too wide. Into the hairpin now. Very tight right-hander, and Funzebra's breaking a bit late. He's into the wall, is he? Yes, he is. But he's lucky to get away with no damage there. Man, what an exciting start here. We've had a couple position drops from Matthew Elliott, but thankfully no terrible accidents.
He's lost 3 positions there, and Slim Turi and the Racing Point, Castle Racing, has gone up 3 positions each at the bequest of Matt, who's been unfortunate here. Funzebra has got gone down to P11, started P6, 5 position drops. They're not a good start by the Alfa Romeo, as I would call it. And the only overtakes that the Williams has made is on the other Williams. Top Gun's made an overtake and told them, I am indeed
that sounds familiar.
The Maverick. Yes, yep. Nothing changing there. Barkspool's consolidated position as the first driver. Disco Stewart is closely following him within 5 tenths, running extremely close. Again, this is something we've been very familiar in the Australian regionals as well, with the Haas right behind the Renault in the early stages of the race before the Renault got taken out. Looking back into P3, we've got Charges right behind.
Oh, not Apollo, he's gone for a move on Funzy, bro. And he's actually got the job done. Actually, no, that was on Top Gun, I believe. So not Apollo moves up into P11. Is Top Gun going to go for a move? No, he isn't. He's just going to stay conservative.
Don't think he has any wing left. Funzebra has his wing done.
That's true.
Yeah, there goes his wing.
Matt has not had a good start at all. He's dropped all the way down to P8 now. This could contribute to what I was actually about to say. In our regionals, it doesn't matter, you know, what nationality it is per se, but there are no assist restrictions for these national leagues. Regional leagues. So, and I know Matt personally, he doesn't run any assists, and I've got our telemetry up here in the bottom right of the screen for our viewers. Now, this can actually give you an insight as to whether or not someone's running assists. Just telling by Lip Romney's brake pressure and his, the amount of pressure he's putting on his accelerator, I can tell that he's running traction and ABS. You can just tell into this corner he'll slam on the brakes. That would normally lock up in the wet. And out of this corner he'll plant it. See, absolutely planting on the accelerator. That would normally put you straight into the wall, but traction control, obviously he's running, so Matt is losing out to him. Yellow flags in sector 2-3. What have we got here? Oh, Barkschool's dropped down to P5. He's had to use the runoff, and he's dropped all the way down. He's dropping down to P7 from the lead. So Disco Subert takes the lead now. I'm not sure if there was any contact or any accidents there between the two competitors, but I feel like Barkschool's just made a mistake there and used the runoff to avoid an accident. Just looking at the top runners now, checking for wing damage. I don't think anybody's got it. So we've had a good clean start from the front runners. Chris is going well in P5 for the Ferrari. I think he's actually dropped a bit as Disco Subert. Oh, Charges sets the fastest lap with a 59.9. Oh, and RP Amazing's had a spin at the exit of the final corner. And oh, Whizbang's made contact. Whizbang's out of this race. That is a safety car, surely.
That is a safety car. And 5-second penalty for RP Amazing for binning it, is what I would say.
Oh, no.
No safety cars yet. No safety cars yet. But Whizbang is done for the day. Albus Dumbledore is going in for a bit of a snap. We will see him next week with what's happened right now. It's unfortunate. But, as I said, spatial awareness, you make mistakes. Other cars being so close around you in Singapore will mean that you will be putting other drivers at risk, and that's what happened here. Collateral damage.
Definitely.
Barkschool's, yeah, few people moving up a fair bit. You look at Mr. Lit. Lit's gone up in 5th and moved up 5 places. Will Slim Toody's up 4 places in 4th, and Castle Racing is also up 4 places in 3rd.
Castle Racing's had a bit of a lock-up there. We actually have a really good battle for in our top 3 here between Castle Racing, who's actually just now dropped back from that slight lock-up there, into the hairpin.
Slim Dude is going for it. Slim Dude is going for it.
Oh, he is.
No, he backs out. He backs out. Brave racing here. I pulled off a couple of good overtakes here as well. I was pretty happy with my race yesterday. In this corner in particular as well. However, you had a fantastic overtake on me. It's a tricky corner to obviously overtake on, especially in the wet. So we'll see if the drivers are brave enough as some of the ones in we were witnessing in Australia. As you said, a lot of people won't be running will be running assists, so it does make it a fair bit easy to be able to overtake on assists. I know that from experience, but even then, so it still requires driver capability to pull it off in such a tight track.
Definitely.
Just going back and seeing, Not Apollo is 4 tenths behind. He's going to try and make an overtake on the pink Spartian. Goes down the left, around the inside, leaves enough space. Ooh, I don't know if the pink Spartian left enough space there. And I think that's exactly why Pink Spartian's letting out Apollo through.
Oh, is Matt going to have a look now on Pink Spartian? He's actually got the job done around the outside. Up into P8 now.
I think what happened there was Pink Spartian probably thought he didn't leave enough space for Not Apollo, and being the gentleman that he is, let Not Apollo through the next on the next corner, not realizing Matty was following suit, and Matty's actually got a net gain of 1 position there, just being in the right place at the right time. That's good. That's a good move on Matty. Back in 8th place now. Just needs to make up 4 more positions there.
Now, Viraj, we're starting to see the rain ease now. It's nowhere near as heavy as what it was at the start of the race, so it's definitely nowhere near the switchover point to the dry tyres, because it is still raining here in Singapore. But I'm not actually quite sure about the exact weather report, in terms of how long this rain's going to last for, but it does seem to be looking like it's easing out a little bit, and we will see drivers switching over to the dries once this is over, and then we'll...
I'm watching Castle racing at the moment. He's on the fastest. He's the fastest first and second sector of the race, and he's right behind Charges, who's up in second. Which will show us what the race pace is looking like. I look the. It does seem to me that the track is drying up real quickly. I will look at the changeover point around the mid 50s. Is what I'm thinking. At that point, I would go on to, I would say, slicks for sure. Castle racing with a new fastest lap of the race. 4 tenths behind Charges. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Castle racing is really showing his pace now. From that mistake, he's caught all the way back up in these conditions. So he's obviously really showing how fast he can be. And we've got a virtual safety car. What's actually happened there? I think Funzibra has actually gone and DNF'd himself in Sector 3. I don't know what he's gone and done there, but... we're just riding on board with a Bode who is about to come up to him. Hopefully his car doesn't despawn by the time he gets there.
Castle Racing is just making an overtake.
Pink Spartian's got a drive-through penalty, which he cannot serve under any safety car or virtual. So that's going to hurt him big time here.
I know a thing or two about virtual safety car drive-through penalties. Don't even mention that to me. I do not like the game mechanics on that one. You get penalized for absolutely nothing with drive-through penalties. I will say that. I got penalized in Italy, and that broke my heart. I had good race pace, and I could have finished P4. But alas, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Now, I'll tell you what happened there. Funzibra DNF'd, causing a virtual safety car right when Castle Racing was up in the guts of Charges. That actually saved Charges from losing out on his second position. I don't know how long he'll be able to hold his position for, but it did save the Aston Martin Red Bull from losing out there, and he should count himself lucky that he's still in second place. Castle Racing is right behind him with no virtual safety car anymore. He's sniffing it a bit, sniffing it on the left, sniffing on the right. Comes down sector 3.
Now, one thing, Viraj, well, I'm just going to say, at the moment, Castle Racing definitely looks like the faster driver in these conditions. But along with that is, despite how good you are in this weather around Singapore, it's going to be so hard to overtake. And that's the thing. If you're a slower driver than your competitor, in the rain, you can definitely hold them back here for a longer amount of time, just because there's absolutely nowhere to overtake. No DRS to get him on the main straight, and no DRS to get him on this straight. But you just got to hope that your competitor gets a worse move. So we've got Castle Racing now. Does he have a better run? I don't think he does. He doesn't have the speed to overtake unless he goes for a dive from this distance, which would be a bit dangerous, if anything. So we have a good battle unfolding here for P2. Just going further down the grid now, do we have any other battles? It doesn't look like it. So, Pink Spartian's actually serving his drive-through penalty now, coming through the pit lane.
Good man.
Good to get it over and done with nice and early as he comes past the AMG safety car. That's a nice shot
what
there.
What he really wants is, as soon as he goes inside the pit, there's a drive-through. There's a safety car.
Yeah, that would be an absolute pain. So, good.
RP amazing, not having an amazing race.
No, yeah, that's a.
Yeah, 6 places down, 17 seconds behind the leader. It's unfortunate. The racing points really struggling to overtake, and you're probably perhaps right there. Maybe that's why you overtook me finally in the dry races, that you had the benefit of the DRS.
Yep.
And because I kept you behind me for a long time, and I enjoyed that a fair bit. And then I had no dies left, so I ruined my own race. But we were able to get the Red Bull into P2, I reckon. So that was good. Well, he'll probably get into P2, I reckon. But the Red Bulls here look fast as well. Probably not as fast as the Racing Point. We only have one Red Bull here. And we've got the sister car Matt in the Toro Rosso a fair bit lower. Matt's running a lone race there. He's got no one in front of him. He's got no one behind him. I really hope the fortunes change with the dry set. I think I would remind the viewers here that with the assist on, it does help the drivers who are running assists. Surely they're faster in the wets, especially with the traction assist available to them. Drivers that are running no assist, the race will come to them eventually, as drivers tend to be a lot faster.
Castle Racing's right up the gearbox of Chargers. Chargers goes defensive, but he's going to go for it anyway. Down the inside, I think there's a tiny bit of contact, but a bit of contact for Chargers rear left there. Lucky not to get him spinning into the fence. So Castle Racing's been very lucky there to get away cleanly. He's just had enough of being behind this guy. And now I'm just going to say the rain has officially, actually never mind. I was going to say the rain has stopped, but it is just so, it's easing so much. But Castle Racing is just continuously staying on the back. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3. That's LeBeau who's had a spin in Sector 3.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what though, I don't think he left enough space for Chargers, left enough space for Castle Racing. He was side by side there, and he squeezed them out. Castle Racing actually showed his driver ability there to actually pull out, even though he was side by side. Really, Charger is trying to squeeze him out as best as he can. Yeah, I'd be keen to look at that again, to be honest, and how that defense was made. He'd already defended once, remember? You're only allowed to defend your position once. You aren't allowed to weave, you aren't allowed to squeeze. And that's actually brought Turi right back into the play. He's right behind Castle Racing, about just less than a second. DRS has been enabled.
Oh, Castle Racing is into the pits. Will that be for another set of inters?
I don't think so. I think he's probably going to go mediums, isn't he? Hards,
I don't know if it's quite time for him. Well, he thinks it is, because that's a set of mediums.
Yeah, mediums.
Interesting. So he must believe that the conditions are good enough for the dry tyre. I mean, it's still raining. I know, like, it's eased, but it's definitely still raining out there. Definitely easing quite a bit, but I think it might be a little bit early.
Do remember that there's 8 laps of racing done, so there must be a dry line forming, which is why he's believing that if he push to the dry line, which I can actually see, he should have enough grip. But it's all about the crossover point. If you get it wrong, you can lose 3 to 5 seconds a lap, and he doesn't want to lose that lap. But do bear in mind, the undercut in Singapore is immense. So if you get it right, you overtake not one, but perhaps even 2 people.
Matt made a mistake on the exit of the pits. He actually had a little bit of a spin there. I don't know if he's got wing damage from it. We'll have to see. He does. He has end plate damage. Oh, severe left wing damage. on the exit of the pits. That's just a cough up from his point,
mate. And like he has no wing. What are you on about? Like literally, he's without a wing.
Yeah, he's got severe wing damage there on the left side, and I keep saying I'm just gonna say the rain stopped because that is just little droplets of rain. There's absolutely nothing out there. So
I'll
a dry
tell you
line
something.
is going to
Castle Racing has made the right move. He just gained a second in that sector.
Yep, he has definitely made the right strategy call.
He's pulled the right one. He has fast right, left, whatever you want to call it. He's pulled it. It's great. It's good to see the Pink Force India's Sahara, whatever the names are, to actually get a good tire strat. 4.5, 3 seconds. Can you imagine? He's just getting 3 seconds on that sector. They have to come in.
Not Apollo's had a spin. Not Apollo's in the wall, and he's got severe damage. He's got end plate, and that is gonna cause him to come in for a pit stop. That'll be a wing change and a set of medium tires. That has hurt him big time. That'll drop him back down the field after everybody else has come in.
Just gone up. He's gone up in first place.
He's absolutely dominated that pit strategy there. That has absolutely benefited him greatly.
But the mediums will not go the whole race. They will not last the whole race. There is no way you can get 23 laps, 22 laps out of 23 laps on a medium.
Is in a spot for a win. Actually, no. Lit Romney's a bit further away up the field. Sorry. Lit Romney on the pass.
I still think it's Castle's race to lose with 12-second advantage that he has now. And on the medium tire strat, he's gonna go on a set of another mediums there. And the mediums are about a second a lap faster than the hards. I reckon 8/10 to a second lap faster. 11 laps of that would probably get him around enough space to come back up in front. Even then, so if he comes back into the pits with the gap as of what it is at the moment, he should have the faster tire and he should be able to make an overtake on Romney from the back. Remember, we do have DRS now, so that would immensely aid any overtaking that's made. We do have Bark School right at the back of the lit man himself. Bark Schools is barking all over his rear wing. It's going to be interesting. I think that's the next overtake on the track. Harry, take us through it.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, Bark School is right on the back of him now in these dry tires. So both on different compounds, we will see an overtake from Bark School if he doesn't make a mistake. Definitely the faster compound at the moment. Might see him. Oh, and Litton Romney's actually broken very early, almost causing Bark School to go right into the back of him. DRS has been activated. Is he going to go for a move into turn 1? That's ballsy, and he's gone for it. Lit Romney's pulled off to the side and almost given it to him. He's not fighting that battle on the slower compound of tires. So now Bark School is on the chase for Castle Racing. Now, this is going to be very interesting towards the end of this race, just the difference on strategy. Of course, at the moment, and for a little while now, these mediums are going to be much faster than the hard tires. Will it be enough for Bark School to get away with another pit stop and not lose too many positions? Because he will have to pit again. All I'm going to say is Castle Racing couldn't have timed his pit stop better.
Yep. Absolutely. That's beautiful. He's actually won the race. De facto won the race by the pit strategy he pulled off. As soon as and a bit of luck as well, might add. As soon as the DRS enabled sign came on, he went whoop-de-doop-de-doo, I'm going in the pits.
Yeah.
And that's fair, you know, a good strat by them. I don't think he's fast enough to keep the same gap with Bark School. For sure, Bark is faster. But I don't think he is going to be able to give up his 15-second lead. Do remember, both the boys have to pit. Bark School still has to make enough of a gap over Lip so that he can make an overtake on Lip. I don't think Castle Racing is going to have that issue. He's already 17.5 seconds ahead of Lit Romney, and it doesn't look to me like Castle Racing would have the issue of coming back out behind him. Bark School needs to be wary of that for sure. Lit and Disco Stewart are both on the harder tire strat, which does look to me like they're going to be sticking for a one-stop strategy. which will work. I made that work on 26 laps yesterday. So I can attest to that, that if you look after the tires and don't get into each and every battle, just fight off the right guys. Haha, Harry. They should be fine with regards to the tires lasting. But just going back, I'm looking at Slim 2. He's gaining a bit of time over charges on the hards. Again, I mentioned the mediums are going to be the tire of choice. They are the tire to be on. You can see this is the 4th fastest lap of the race by a different individual on the mediums, which means all the medium drivers are really enjoying the increased grip over the guys running hards. If you were to ask me, Harry, what I would have done yesterday if I'd done anything different, I would have gone mediums again instead of going on my the hards. That is for sure. I kind of do feel that I did not have the optimum tires tried as medium hards. Probably should have gone for the hards and hoped for a safety car, which did end up happening. But it does look interesting here. I'm enjoying the current battle. Barkschool's not gaining.
Well, Barkschool is actually gaining. He's gained about a second in a lap and a bit.
Has you know?
Yep.
He's gaining a second lap over Lit Romney for sure, but he's still keeping the gap pretty similar to Castle Racing. It was between the 14.5 and 15.2, and he's still maintaining that. Probably gaining about 3 tenths a lap on Castle Racing, which is not going to be enough for sure. He needs to really push hard. Let me see what. And do remember, it looks to me like Lit Romney is maintaining Castle Racing is maintaining his DRS fairly well. It's got 62% versus Barkschool at 35. Interesting here. Not much to say really. I don't have my usual stipulated guys here. The president's not racing today. Probably is a fair bit busy with the coronavirus and whatnot. Fried Rice is out today, and understandable. Korean Fried Rice especially can't. All respect paid to the supreme leader from North Korea. I believe that he passed away, didn't he?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, well, you know, if there's one person who wants to find out who's celebrating about his death and then take some revenge, it's probably the supreme leader. And it would be interesting to actually have the president and see what he says, because the president obviously is a democratic leader. The supreme leader is more, I would say, monarch-based, authoritarian-based. In the meantime, Laboud has got a 3-second time penalty. He probably is thinking, hey, I don't like this conversation having up in the comm box, so I'm going to go as fast as possible so I can get out of this race. Albeit he doesn't realize he's just skipped a fair few corners and got himself a 3-second time penalty. Lit Romney is losing a second a lap. You were right, Harry. He's now 6 seconds behind Barkschool. Bark again is only gaining a couple tenths a lap over Castle Racing. It's Castle Racing's race to lose, really. He's actually forming enough of a gap to come in out ahead of Lit and be on the fresher set and a faster set of tires. Yeah, interesting.
Definitely.
Matty McMatface, what have you done, mate? You're in P11 there. He's gone a newest set. He's on fresh hards now. He's just gone into the pits, come back out, and he's racing alone again. Right. Not much else to report. The closest next battle it's gonna be is Real Slim Tootie, 1.7 seconds behind Charger, who's running hards. But after a couple of laps, those mediums are actually not gonna be the best set to be on. Hards are gonna start kicking back in about 2-3 laps, I reckon. At least that's what I saw from experience. The mediums do last well and give you a fair bit of pace for the first 7-8 so laps.
Then they die off very quick.
Yeah, by lap 10 they're like, goodbye.
Yep, they just quit on you. They feel like they're gonna last forever, but then they just quit on you in about lap 10. So pretty much, if Slim Tootie doesn't get past Chargers in the next, I'd say 5-6 laps, then he's not going to get past him at all. These hard tyres are going to kick away and absolutely run off from these dying medium tyres. Now, I don't think Castle Racing's building up enough of a gap from the hard runners to actually benefit. In fact, personally, I think the hard runners will get away with a good result here. I don't think that's enough of a gap for a pit stop.
He's got 22 seconds there. Now, don't forget, the hards aren't stopping again.
Exactly.
Even if he doesn't get enough of a gap to come in and out ahead of guys running hard,
we'll be on a better tire.
Do not forget, they will be on mediums again for sure, which means they're gonna have fresh mediums, which are gonna be about a second lap faster, and they're gonna have DRS for them. So, and you know that you did that yesterday against a couple of drivers where you had to pit again, and you came back, and they were essentially sitting trucks. They couldn't defend for as long as possible. I know that because I had a struggling session trying to defend my position against you on an older set and a slower set of tires as well. So don't discount the fact how good the mediums are going to be. In saying that, he's still forming a fair bit of a gap. Last time we checked, it was 21.5 seconds. Now it is 22.5 seconds. So it's going to be It's going to be interesting there. I would most certainly still think Castle Racing is alright. Bark School is going to have an issue, I reckon. Bark School is going to be one of the is only 7.5 seconds ahead of Mitt Romney, and I think you're right in that case that maybe Bark School is probably not going to have enough time to be able to make up, especially with the Disco Stewart and Mitt Romney being good defenders as we've seen in the prior races. They've got considerable pace themselves, and perhaps they may even be saving their tires for what they would presume they would be having battles in the last third of the race. RP Maze has got another 3-second time penalty there, followed by Pink Spartian with also a 3-second time penalty. Alright, interesting. And you never know, mediums are probably not lasting much anymore anyway. Slim Tootie is actually losing the time to charges. His tires seem to have dropped off considerably. He was 2 seconds behind charges not even a lap ago, which is now down to 4 seconds.
True, that's very true.
Alright, Harry, I've spoken enough. You take over the comms box.
Will do. So, yeah, well, Viraj, there's not really a whole lot to talk about just yet. Really just about strategy. So, you know what we could do? Talk about a bit of Asian food while we wait for time to... Oh! Never mind, Disco Stubert's had a severe accident, and he's lost his entire front wing. That's one of our hard runners effectively out of this race. Right when I say there's nothing to talk about. He's had the most severe accident we've seen in this race, apart from the DNFers. That has absolutely ruined him.
That house still looks pretty good.
Still looks great, even without a front wing.
He's missed the entry pit lane, and well, he's realized that the pit entry was 60 kilometers per hour. I did not, so when I came in for my
oh my god,
yeah, he's gonna go on mediums now. Discuss to it.
Will they make it to the end? They won't make it to the end. Those mediums won't make it.
15 laps? I don't think so.
That's interesting.
But I said that about intermediates last time, and now I have a new nickname, so I should probably
exactly. Well, yeah, I want to watch out for that. So yeah, Disco Stupid, very unfortunate for him there. Oh, there's a safety car for it. I didn't realize there's a safety car.
Ooh.
Oh my god, how have I not noticed that there is a safety car out for his incident? That's helped him. That's helped him big time. That's going to hold his P6. And if anything, that's actually given him a free pit stop.
It's actually giving him a free... Yeah. Can you imagine that? The race
how has this helped him?
A lot more interesting.
This has just helped him.
Oh my goodness.
Him taking off his entire front wings actually helped him.
him as well as Lit Romney as well. Don't forget, they just had 18 seconds. If I were Garson Racing and Barkpool, I would come in for mediums.
He is
right
in.
now.
Yep, he is in, and we'll see. Yep, that's a set of mediums in the Racing Point.
Yep.
Garage there. In. He's serving. Oh, he's not serving a 5-second. On the mediums. Out he goes. A bit of a slow stop there from Racing Point. Don't know what the cause of that was. Barkpool is in as well for the Renault for a set of mediums. In. Out. Much quicker stop for the Renaults there than the Racing Points, but it's not really going to help much. Lit Romney moves up into P1 on those hards. Now, as you said, Viraj, a bit earlier, sure, he's got track position now, but the guys behind him are in the much better tyre at the moment.
I did say that when the safety car was not out. Do not forget that.
Yeah.
They essentially had their leads taken out. Yeah, for sure. The guys running mediums initially had a fair few seconds over Lit Romney, but that's all been wiped out. So ideally, Garson Racing and Barkpool would have come back in four or so laps from now, but now they've had to come in early because it's actually changed their tire strat. So if Lit Romney can actually keep them behind, remember the hards aren't that old just yet. So if they can keep him behind for a couple of laps, get in their dirty air and ruin their mediums, Lit Romney might just finish first or second.
I might just say right on that, like, I've probably made a bit of a mistake from what I was saying there. Now is probably the best time for the hards. Like, the hards are probably in their prime right now. So for the for the opening laps of this safety car restart, I think Lit Romney is actually probably going to be able to hold these guys off. And if he can hold them off for long enough, he's going to be damaging the guys behind their medium tires in that dirty air. So honestly,
come back because the mediums aren't, they're going to drop off considerably after lap 8. So 7 laps on the mediums are going to be horrendous. Whereas I can attest to the fact that the hards can last you easily 26 laps.
Easily.
And bear in mind, the safety car also means you're taking out net 3 laps out of that 26 lap still. So at 23 laps, the hards should easily last you the whole race, which means Lit Romney's on 9 laps and expecting what? Another 10 or so laps of racing, actual racing. The hards will easily give him 19 laps of good race pace for sure.
Most definitely.
A bit of an overtake there. Prince Parshan was getting lapped again. I don't know why he's getting lapped again.
Might just say as well, after a pretty bad race for them, Top Gun in the Williams ends up in P8 now. He's not had the best race, and he's actually worked himself worked his way up. Definitely on better tyres than Lit Romney, but probably won't be contesting for a top finish. But that's definitely helped him out. This safety car, he moves up into P8. So our field now.
One person who just cannot get this strat right is RP Amazing. If you look at his tyres, he's done 3 stops. He's gone on mediums, and then he stopped on. He got softs out, and now he's gone back on hards. Why would you want to go on hards with 13 laps left? I don't think it's the right tire stat at all. Not when you want to gain positions. Interesting by RP Amazing for sure. Most of the field has gone for mediums. Those who think that they have a chance of winning. The conservative boys have gone for hards, unfortunately. RP Amazing has 35 seconds to still gain. And this might come into play for Matt. Now, Matt's 6-lap all hards. He decided not to pit, which is fair. Albeit I don't understand why. And he could have essentially been on mediums and probably tried for a top 5 or top 6. You know what I mean?
Now, our top 6 drivers, we've got 1 on prime hards and the other 5 on brand new mediums. This is going to be a battle for the century. around here, especially even just in the medium runners. Overtakes galore, especially here, and these are essentially our top drivers we've seen showing pace in this race. You know, Castle Racing, Bark School, Chargers, and Disco Stubert. I mean, and Tootie as well. They've been really showing their pace today, and now that they're all together on effectively the same tyre, we could really see some good racing here on safety car restart. Probably going around for one more lap under safety car, which, if anything's helping helping Romney on those hards, just keeping him alive for just that little bit longer. So yeah, this just goes to show anything can happen in motorsport. You know, for Stubert, you know, before I noticed the safety car was out, I thought that was his race done. You know, but this safety car has effectively brought him in for a chance of a podium, and it's brought anybody for a chance of a podium here.
You know what I would have done though, if I wanted Romney, I would have gone on mediums. As soon as the safety car came out, I would have gone mediums too, because he would have then been on net tires, on exact value tires. He might have not been in first place, he would probably been in third place, but now you are competing against the boys in front with the right tire again. He had the chance to go on the right tire, but he chose position. Yeah, position is defendable. I did it for 3 laps, but you will burn through rubber quickly. You will burn through rubber quickly because you'll have to defend aggressively against the faster tire. And you now have put yourself at risk at losing not just one position. Instead of consolidating his third place finish, which he would have easily finished in, he now has the risk of finishing as low as probably even 6th place. Definitely.
And yeah, as you said, if I was in his position, you know, we have kind of opposing opinions here. I would have valued track position over the better tire in this situation. With all this traffic now all together, I would much rather track position, like being up ahead, away from the dirty air, on a track where you definitely can defend. So yeah, I personally think Romney's made the right strategy call here, staying out. But yeah, there is of course also a benefit, safety car in this lap, a benefit of coming in on the fresh tyre, which these guys behind will be battling on. But yeah, this position is definitely defendable, and if he gets a good 3-second time penalty, that's going to hurt him.
I'm sure he's going to challenge that on the safety car.
No, but people need to respect the fact that, you know, everybody knows how you know, harsh these track limits are under safety car. People should know the game now, so I think that's actually going to hurt him quite a bit. We will look at race director on the last 5 laps, but I will run on board probably with Chargers because he's got a good view.
5-second penalty, severe collision with Castle Racing.
That will be appealed.
That'll be appealed for sure.
This game has a habit.
Lights up.
This is what happened in Oceania. The game actually slows you down on that corner, no matter how late you actually decide to go. But we've got a good clean restart. Bark School's going for a move down the inside, and he's up to P2. Nice and cleanly ahead of Castle Racing. So we've already started to see these medium runners battle for position.
School's almost out. He saves it. He fucking... Sorry, guys.
Now Castle Racing's got to run on Romney now. Is he going to have a move here? Up into Rich, overtake, down the main straight. He's going down the outside, sorry. A little bit of contact there with the rear right of Lit Romney. Around the outside.
Has more grip.
A bit of contact there. And Castle Racing has already got around the outside of him on the first lap of this safety car restart with 11 laps to go. So the medium's already showing how much faster they are than these hard tires.
And Castle Racing must be tanking his stars. He got it done early because if he had to wait another lap or so, because do remember, Mitt Romney's tires are actually not as in optimum. Tire temperature is not optimum at the moment. Mediums can work on lower tire temperature than hards. Hards need to be a fair bit hotter to be in the optimum range of operating. And obviously, I think that's what it showed.
Pink Spartian's actually gone through the wall. Sorry to cut you off there. That is his race over, and I think he's actually given up a bit there. But that's unfortunate for him. Now we have Bark School pressuring Romney on the better tyre. Are we going to see Bark School get past Romney, or do you think Romney will be able to hold him off here?
I reckon.
Romney's actually got a snap of understeer, a bit of oversteer as well on exit. This gives Bark School a hell of a chance to go around the outside, and he's actually gone for it. But is Romney going to hold the position? He is. but Barkschool's up, kicked up the ERS. Is he going to go for a move around the outside? He is! Barkschool is not giving this up, but Romney's got oversteer, and he's actually hit Barkschool's front wing, not giving him any damage though, and this is actually kicked up the back of the field. Everybody's close together now.
Oh my god, that's a full train forming.
Oh, Disco Stubert's going for a move around the outside of Charges, and he's got the move done. Look at these positions changing on the medium runners.
Truly train, truly train, truly train. What did I say? I told you that what's going to happen is that he's now putting himself at risk. Barkschool 3-second time penalty, ping swash and retires.
Charges actually got wing damage from running into the back of... Oh, there's an Alfa Romeo in the wall, and that's a safety car. Real Slim Teddy's actually hit the wall on the last lap, and he... Well, not last lap, last 10 laps of this race. And that has caused a safety car.
5-second penalty for Disco Stewart for severe collision. Now, thank you, Lit Romney, for making the race so lit. But what did I say about the tire strat, about him being on mediums? Because I can tell you, Harry, I don't think you raced on hards yesterday. Perhaps you did, but I could tell you that when I was defending on old hards against guys on new tires, whether that be new hards or new mediums, I was almost a sitting duck. So I was coming from a perspective where I had experiences, and I was feeling that the risk he's putting himself against the softs, as the softer tire, would have essentially, instead of consolidating perhaps his third place position, he was risking it. And as you can see, that there was a huge train forming right behind him. He's already back in P3 now, and now he's at risk of losing out to Disco Stewart and Charges and ending up in P5.
Amongst all this battling as well, Castle Racing has had the opportunity to bolt away from the pack. He's now got an 8-second gap to Barkschool, and then another further 2 seconds to the rest of the pack and these medium runners. Now, we've got a bit of a battle unfolding here. Not Apollo is going to go for a move down the inside of Charges. Charges has actually got wing damage from running into the back of Disco Stubert a little bit earlier on, just before the safety car. Now, if you're just joining us here with 13 viewers, if you're just joining us, we've just had a safety car restart, and we've got some people on the hard tire and some people on brand new mediums. Now, Not Apollo's got to run on Charges now, down the main straight. What's he going to do down the outside? And he's actually had to swerve a bit there, but we've got another battle up here with Disco Stubert and Lit Romney.
Beautiful defending. That's good defending, I'd say. Not Apollo has not been able to pull off one against Charges without having a proper front wing. Defended well, and we've got an accident.
Oh, Matt is out!
Matt's out, and he's also had a collision. We've got RP Amazing colliding, we've got Top Gun colliding, which means we have another safety car.
I know exactly what's happened there. From the accident at the safety car restart we just had, the wall has been dragged out onto the track. Matt has run straight into that wall, and then, of course, caused a pile-up from the cars behind him. RP Amazing and Top Gun have just ran straight into the back of him. And what a dramatic end to this race we've had. Are we going to see people come in for the soft tyres now and race to the end? We're now going to see people deciding track position over the soft tyre.
If I'm Lit Romney, I'm coming in now.
I'd come in for the softs. I'd definitely come in for the softs.
If I'm Lit, because this has just brought back the mediums even closer. It does mean that he is on hards and the other guys in mediums who had built an 8-second gap essentially got back down to 0. But if I'm Lit Romney, I'm coming back.
They're staying out.
He chooses to
That is
stay
silly.
Out.
That is silly. The rest of the people behind him are coming in.
Castle Racing has gone into the pits for sure. Now,
why wouldn't you come in?
Because if I was Castle Racing, I would actually stay out. I was ahead of everyone else. I would stay out. Barkschool's done the opposite. He probably is like, I'm going to do the exact opposite of what Castle Racing does, and he stayed out. Castle Racing's come out of the pits in P4 on softs. It's going to be interesting.
We've got a couple of wing changes as well from that accident with Matt there. Charges actually came in for a brand new front wing. The Ferrari of RP Amazing came in for a new front wing. So now we've got everybody. Well, a couple of people on softs, a couple of people on mediums, and a couple of people on hards. Who do you support here?
A sprint to the finish. Well, I'm going to be a bit of a homerism over there and support the beautiful deep blue Red Bull there for hopefully a podium finish. But I'm also enjoying how the Forces are running. Both different tire strats. One's on hards, one's on softs. Hard 7 laps old. Not Apollo, obviously, I'm sure is going to step aside. because obviously team orders, you're not gonna hold off the first driver on the right strategy, who's probably in for a good win, just because you want to finish in the podium.
Disco Stupid is out under safety car.
Oh my god, I can't imagine. I can't.
What is going on?
He's gone into the did he go into Klumberg? I think he did.
No, he's just he's just gone into the wall where Matt crashed.
Oh my god.
Under safety car.
That's going to be interesting. That does mean that the race, the drivers have to be careful about that corner, because if they're not, we might not have any finishes.
This is literally anybody's race. What is going on?
Now, unfortunately, that does mean that there's not going to be an additional safety car. It still probably will be just the 3 laps. This race has gone on for long. Hey, we had half the race in rain, and now we've had 2 safety cars. It's interesting. I mean, I'm enjoying this. We've got 7 drivers. I'm loving it. And we were going to talk about fried rice and laksa and whatnot. And now I just feel like they can take a back seat. We can order Thai food later. We have to watch this amazing race first. Oh, I'm keen for some Thai today, mate. I'm going to order some nice chili thyme basil.
Of course you're talking about fucking food, man.
I love food, man. Food is great. Food is the heart of the soul.
Of course.
You know it.
Now,
have you ever had a well-cooked Macca's burger?
Of course.
If it's well-cooked, you love it. It's rare though. It's exceptionally rare. It's
just
usually
like,
very cold, usually.
It's very rare, just like the chances of everybody being on similar strategies. We've got everybody on a different strategy, pretty much. We've got 2 people on, 3 people on mediums that are different ages. We've got 2 people on new softs. We've got 2 people on different age hards, and 1 guy on 7-lap old mediums. Like, this is just confusing. We've had literally like 4 or 5 casualties in the last 10 laps of this race. Just, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. This is one of the most exciting, strange finishes to the race I've ever seen.
I'm gonna love it. I'm honestly gonna love it. And somehow, RP Amazing is looking for a top 4 position, because I don't feel the hards are gonna last at all. RP Amazing probably should have gone to the pits, to be honest. He could have gone on new softs. But Top Gun, I would say, is also in for, if he's fast enough, he should be in for another top 4, top 5 finish. I don't think the hards are going to be the tire of choice at all. I think Lit's going to be a dead man walking. I don't think he's going to be able to pull out anything with the hards, being how old they are, with the softs right behind them, absolutely fresh as a daisy.
Definitely.
Barkschool's going to enjoy that, to be honest.
A 6-lap sprint to the finish after this safety car restart. Barkschool's actually pulled away quite a little bit here, but
I would watch the 2 Force Indias and see when they do the switch over. 100% they do switch over. Have to. If they don't, I don't understand why. Like, we've got a beautiful race on the hands, and the Force Indias need to realize that Team Strat needs to play in part. They might be in for a double podium. Most certainly, it's possible.
We are away here on the safety car restart. It's already happening. And Lit Romney's just going to hold P2 now, but that's a bit of a late breaking point for Not Apollo. He's gone a little bit wide there. His teammate surely looking to overtake here on the better tyre. Charges behind him, looking for a bit of a mistake to happen up ahead so he can go for a move. And we've got a reasonably clean restart here, but Not Apollo has gone a little bit wide there, and Castle Racing's gone to the inside. Is he going to go for a move here on this straight already? Is Not Apollo going to contest it, or are they going to do team orders and let him overtake?
I don't.
They're battling! They're battling! These racing cars are battling!
Jesus.
Oh my! What is going on here? There's absolutely no teamwork here. It is all for the ages now.
They're losing places. He's got the faster guy behind him. He's keeping him back. He's losing a second a sector on the hards.
He is just hurting his teammate. His teammate's in for a top 2, but Not Apollo is just holding him back. That is confused. Why would he be holding his teammate back right now? That is absolutely disgraceful. That's giving Lit Romney a chance on the worst tire out there right now. It's giving Lit Romney, the guy on the worst tire, a chance for a top 2. What?
I can't believe what's happening. I can't believe what's happening.
I don't get it. Now Barkschool's gonna get away with the win here.
He does. No, he doesn't. Every time he pulls away, and I think, okay, he's gonna let him through now. And he doesn't. I'll tell you what, though, Nordpolo is a good defender. That's for sure.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be defending right now.
Don't defend your teammate. Does he let him go through now? He has to, does it?
No, he'll be waiting for the DRS straight, surely. Nope, he's got impatient and he's held the inside. Now, we're just going to see him probably holding back now, waiting for the DRS straight. I'm fairly sure DRS is enabled now, or actually might not be, but he's got the ERS to use around the last corner now, and not Apollo's actually ruined his momentum. Castle Racing race has absolutely been sabotaged by his own teammate.
Absolutely, that's just unfortunate, really. Because Castle Racing was on for a victory there. He went on the softs. I'm sure they had discussed that. I was pretty sure they would have discussed it between their teammates saying,
oh, and Chargers hit the invisible wall!
Oh.
I've got that on stream perfectly!
I saw that as well. Jesus, is it another safety car?
No, it's too late, surely. It's too late. We've already had our 3 as well. I'm fairly sure we've already had 3 safety cars. We can only have virtuals. Oh, this game, this race has come down to a bug. A bug. A wall has literally been invisibly placed on the track.
Yeah, but I did say this. I said the job of the drivers is to finish, because this track does not allow you to make any mistakes.
But that's not up to mistakes here. That was an invisible glitch, Viraj.
Well,
there's nothing Chargers could have done.
It's a mistake by the developers nonetheless, but it doesn't allow for any mistakes. So the developers have made a mistake, and it's cost the drivers dearly. And this is what I'm saying. It doesn't allow for any mistakes. Mistakes made by developers are nonetheless mistakes, Harry. You know that.
I just can't believe it. If I was in Chargers' position, I would never want to touch this game again.
DRS has been enabled. Look, man, what happened to Mural? I don't think Mural will want to touch this game again.
True that.
Still, please feel free to go into what happened with Mural.
Yeah, nah. Castle Racing again having a move. DRS is activated now. This is going to give him a chance to go around the outside, and Apollo actually seems to be finally giving it up.
Doesn't defend that at all.
Finally, he's realized. And I actually think I've realized what's caused Castle Racing to struggle. He's got end plate damage on the right side of his car there.
And that's probably stemming from the first sector damage. He did overtake Nordpolo, but then somehow dropped places because he was fighting against Lit Romney as well after the safety car restart. I'm guessing he got damaged there, which ruined his chances of winning the race. That's actually really unfortunate. He is gaining on Lit Romney now. I'm looking at maybe he's going to finish. He might just get a second position there, but man, Barkschool really did get this win handed to him. There's no way he's making. There's no way Castle makes six seconds on Barkschool. Not on the tires, not on the soft set that's old by 4 laps. No, that doesn't happen.
Leading on from that, what I like to do on F1 commentary on Sundays is on the last 5 laps check the race director, which I'm going to go and do now, because penalties tend to play a huge role at the end of races. So,
and that's why, Harry, I like you.
Has 3 seconds of penalties. Lit Romney has 6 seconds of penalties.
Yes.
Castle Racing has... Oh wait, no, I think he's actually gone and served that under pits. Sorry about that.
So he has no penalties, is what you're saying. Hello?
Yep, sorry. Sorry, Dan. I got a bit interrupted there. So, yeah, Castle Racing, I think, served his 5-second in his pit stop. And, so yeah, Castle Racing only has 3 seconds of penalties. Not Apollo has only a warning.
Ooh. So if
And,
not a Paul can keep it within the 3 seconds, he's in for a podium there.
yeah, definitely. Oh, Top Gun's actually, yeah, Top Gun's effectively
Castle
out.
Racing has got.
Ooh,
Castle Racing has got another 3-second time penalty. That
Not Apollo's going to benefit.
Yep. Not Apollo must be laughing. He must be like, ha 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 ha, for stopping him. He shouldn't have stopped him. He really shouldn't have. It was
cruel by his teammate.
Honestly, you're not on the right tire strat. I understand being selfish. I understand drivers want to be selfish because they want to win, for sure.
In the heat of the moment.
But come on. It's your own teammate. He's on the faster tire. You've held him up. He held him up enough for Castle Racing to not have any chance at winning the race. And probably may even have caused front wing end plate damage. We don't know because we didn't see that. But it's possible after what I saw initially by not Apollo. It was, as you said, Harry, as you put it well. You said it was disgraceful driving.
Yeah.
You said that, and I would confirm. It was sad to see that, especially. Essentially, at the end of the day, it's still teamwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, Castle Racing's got to run on Romney with the DRS, and he's actually gone for a move down the inside. Is he going to get it done? Romney's forced a little bit wide, but Castle Racing is actually gone and got the move done.
Yeah, good racing.
Oh, and Romney's out of the race from the invisible barrier as well.
Let's fam. Let's go on. And not Apollo gets his podium after all.
I cannot believe it.
I can.
I've now caught 3 of these. That was a perfect camera angle as well. I cannot believe it.
You're so happy. Don't be happy with other people's misery, alright?
I never said I was happy. I'm literally shocked.
Shocked, I tell ya.
That
RP Amazing is now up to P4. I did say it. I called it. You'll have to finish the race.
At this point, it's just Drive to Survive.
Absolutely, that's a good series as well. You gotta watch.
It is a great series. Please go and watch that on Netflix. Not sponsored. So now the racing points. We have 5 finishes out of 14 contenders.
You know what the drivers are saying? The drivers are saying you make me look like a bunch of. Well, as a good old what was his name again? What's the Haas's Gunther Steiner, right?
Gunther Steiner, yeah.
says it. What does he say it, Harry? A bunch
of wankers. I mean.
Yeah. Oops. I meant to say it. Haha. Meantime, Castle Racing doesn't look like it's going to be gaining. That's the end of the race. Top Gun's probably going to make a move. Top Gun's looking at 3/10. Last lap of the race here. Top Gun might make an overtake on RP Amazing. Don't know if that's going to happen or not. Oh no, the race is over, I reckon. Is it? No.
It's effectively over. There's 1 lap to go, and everybody's separated by at least.
Well, Top Gun,
5 seconds.
Top Gun just slowed down. He slowed down by 3 seconds there for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, he probably has no fuel. Yeah, he doesn't have any fuel. Top Gun was making inroads. Oh, almost got taken up at the invisible wall again.
I just saw RP Amazing in that same spot go through the exact same line that all these other people have through that invisible barrier and been fine, but someone else takes that line and they're dead.
RP Amazing
I don't get it.
He's using hacks.
We've got 5 finishes out of 14 competitors.
And that's Bark School. Final lap of the race.
This would have to be one of the most hectic Transnation race I've ever experienced across the board.
Well, I remember a certain Austria race a couple of months ago that you took part in. That was a fair bit hectic.
Yeah, it was 2 drivers though. So This is 5 competitors out of 14. Like,
Yeah. You know what? The only race I put in front of this as being hectic, Harry, was remember the Australian race? I think it was the Nationals in Austria. Do you remember that one? No, you don't, do you?
no, I remember it. You're gonna remember what concrete tastes like on Sunday next week. But anyway, so we're gonna continue on with this race here, and across the final lap now, coming across the final couple of corners for Barkschool, into the last section now, under the bridge, into the last 4 corners of this race now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Barkschool takes the Singapore Grand Prix for the US Series, but we're going to see time penalties probably not play a biggest role. Oh my god, the frames per second drops when these fireworks come out. And Castle Racing crosses the line in P2.
And gains 18 seconds, yeah.
Will not Apollo take his position?
I don't think so.
Yes, he will. RP Amazing is a little bit further behind. He's just into Sector 3 now. But yeah, I will get you to invite our top 3 here.
How do I invite them?
I should be able to. Could you, yeah, if you could just read out the. Oh yeah, I gotta suggest.
RP Amazing is coming on. Starting straight. Ferrari comes in 4th place. Top Gun must be happy. Those points for the gun in hand, and that is 5 finishes on the race. What a race! What a race, Harry.
What a race! Now, could you just quickly read our top 3? I think it was Barkschool.
It was Barkschool, followed by it was Not Apollo, and then it was Castle Racing.
How do you spell Not Apollo again?
With a not. K-N-O-T.
Not Apollo. Am I spelling this wrong? Could you spell it completely? I just can't. Yep. There we go.
That was.
Yeah. Congratulations on your win, mate. You had a fantastic race there. What were you thinking when Castle Racing went in for softs? Were you thinking the exact opposite? Run us through the last few decisions you made. Well, that was a good strat. I would say that so myself, because I thought you'd be coming into the pits. Then I probably thought maybe you want to do the exact opposite of what Castle Racing does. But well done on the race win. Harry, did you have any questions for him?
No questions. Just congratulations on the good result here we've had for you today. Just although I'm going to ask everybody this, but I'll ask you now. Just your opinions on this race as a whole, and I'm especially talking about the last, 10 laps of this abomination of a race.
I actually didn't see what happened. I saw on the screen that was coming around and finished like half the field DNF.
Yep.
So I actually don't know where I'm at behind me, but it was some fun, so that'd be a part of it.
Yeah, well, I'd highly recommend going back and looking through that, because, oh man, was it a hectic race towards the end there, and we got some good camera angles just showing just what happened there. We'll move on to our next competitor.
No, not at all. It was still just like a fight.
Well, I'm fairly sure it was because of I think it might have been Matt that went into the wall that caused the safety car there, I think it was the second safety car, and that's caused a glitch that we've seen often around Singapore, where the barrier from that collision actually comes and jumps out onto the track, and often becomes invisible, and of course that catches people out, and tends to let random people through. We've seen a couple of drivers get through it just fine, and others literally DNFing. So it's been a bit hectic here from Codemaster's view. So yeah, not looking great.
Yeah, but you guys kept it in. Good racing. Yeah, you guys have anything else to say?
No.
No, other than that was a really good race. Congrats to everyone.
Alright, see you, mate. All the best for next week.
Thanks for joining us, boys, and great race to watch, especially towards the end there. So incredibly hectic and action-packed, so yeah, great race. Thank you everybody for joining us for round 5 of the USA Regionals League here at Transnation here in Singapore. One to remember for sure. Raj, you have any last things to say before we head off?
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to having the president and fried rice back next week. But besides that, I enjoyed my time with you, Harry.
Yeah, same here, Raj, and I'm very much looking forward to next Monday, where we will be commentating, I believe, Russia for USA Monday regionals. So thank you everybody for joining us and supporting Translation, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.